Good morning, everyone. I am the Reverend Susan Suchocki Brown, and welcome to South Church. We are so happy to have you here at our worship service. We gather this morning to give thanks for the life-giving, life-enhancing, life-enriching, enlivening influence of mothering found all around us. We are so glad that you joined us this morning. And I am joined by Worship Associate Myra Aaronson and our Director of Music Ministries, Joanne Connolly. Myra, would you introduce the rest of our worship team?
Yes, I'm delighted to do that. I would like to introduce, they are not on the screen with us this morning, but are a crucial part of putting this magic together. Our RE Director, Kirsten Hunter, our RE Coordinator, Jen Del Deo, our Office Administrator, Jennifer Layden, and special thanks to our amazing volunteer video producer, Pip Clues, who actually puts all the pieces together and makes what you're seeing together this morning happen.
Thank you. South Church is a Unitarian Universalist church, and we have principles and purposes that bind us and give us goals and directions on how to be the best people we can be. If you are new or coming back, we are so glad you are here with us. And we want you to know that even though we are in virtual space, you are not alone. We want to hear from you. I'd like to give you some general information before we begin our worship service. Please feel free to enter and say hello and good morning and share a rose, a bud, or a thorn when you enter. And we will also give you time during the prayer to write more specific prayer requests. We want to hear what's going on. We want to be able to pray for you and with you. And I would add that if at any time you do not want to see the chat, you may enlarge your screen. At the bottom of the chat, there is a note that says hide chat, or click there or enlarge your screen and then come back to us during the prayer time. Let worship begin.
We want you to keep those photos and videos coming. For next week's photo challenge, we want to see pictures or short videos of you discovering or rediscovering a favorite place in nature, whether it be a new trail, a quiet stream, or even the hammock in your backyard, anywhere outside. Please send your photos to Jen Del Deo at southchurch-uu.org by next Thursday morning. The Pocket Garden Tour is reorganizing to the weekend of September 11th and 12th, but you can sow some seeds of support right now by purchasing a bloom and having your name and message in the brochure as a supporter. Blooms may be purchased at the South Church website. The Endowment Committee is debuting the giving page on our South Church website. They're asking anyone who is named South Church as part of their estate planning to fill out a Penn Hollow Society membership form so that we can assure an accurate list. They're asking this for both people who have listed South Church newly and people in the past. Even if you think you filled out that paperwork, please make sure you do so again. And now a message from Jim Verschuren.
Good morning. I asked to make this announcement today because I am so proud of our South Church community and actually the larger Seacoast community for what we are doing for people who've been detained as immigrants and have been incarcerated many times for months at a time. These people are being released, and we at South Church, there were 46 of us from the church and around the community who volunteered to host a person in a home here for 15 days in quarantine. I just want to let all our volunteers know that our guest is now with family and has went out of quarantine quite healthily. So we had a successful and very important thing that we did for the community. The volunteers stayed overnight at church, brought in clothes, brought groceries and food, donated money. There were just so many things that people could do. And in the larger community, we connected with people who speak Spanish and who now are familiar with South Church and how we live our values in our daily lives. So thank you. It was a wonderful experience for me to coordinate this, and I am so inspired by all that we did. And now the next thing is the American Civil Liberties Union in New Hampshire has brought suit against the state, and there are hearings going on even now as I'm recording this from my studio here in Dover. There are bond hearings, and we may see many more people released within the next few days. At South Church, we've committed to house 2 of those people, to find homes for 2 of those people for 15 days if they need to be quarantined. And so those of you who volunteered already, you'll have another opportunity. Those of you who would like to volunteer and have the time in the next few weeks, it looks like we'll be doing it again for a couple of people. And if you would like to be added to the distribution list, if you were already a volunteer in one of those 46, you're on it, and I will keep you informed. If you'd like to be added, please just contact the church, let them know, and they'll get in touch with me, and I'll add your name. So thank you. It's been a wonderful experience. It's been inspiring, and it makes me ever more grateful to be a part of this wonderful community.
Sleep, my child, and peace attend you all through the night. I who love you shall be near you all through the night. Soft the drowsy hours are creeping, hill and vale in slumber sleeping. I my loving vigil keeping all through the night. Mother, I can feel you near me all through the night. Father, I know you can hear me all through the night. And when I am your age nearly, still I will remember clearly how you sang and held me dearly all through the night. And now, please join me in singing our opening hymn, number 316, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In.
The first time I crossed the threshold of a Unitarian Universalist church was in Paramus, New Jersey in 1987. My husband, baby daughter, and I had recently moved from DC to New Jersey. It was a very stressful time, an incredibly hot summer with no relief. We didn't know anybody, and we didn't have enough money. I felt unsupported and alone. Looking for community and having seen an ad in the local paper, and in spite of not having any previous conscious interest in participating in a religious congregation, I decided to visit Central Unitarian Church. I wasn't even sure what Unitarianism was. That was a threshold moment for me. It changed my life. In some ways, that congregation and the men and the women in it mothered me. I say mothered because the generation in which I grew up, in my culture and demographic, it was the adult women in the family, if there was one, who was expected to be responsible for the emotional well-being of the family. Now, happily, that has changed, again, in my demographic group and culture, and people of all genders are actively participating in parenting. Though I wasn't a child when I entered that first UU congregation, what I got from it and continue to get from this congregation are things that I associate with parenting, at least the idealized version. I am encouraged, supported, applauded, challenged, respected, corrected, validated, smiled at, trusted. I have been helped to question my choices. My achievements have been celebrated. I have been given incredible opportunities for growth. I have been provided solace in times of trouble and sadness. Sources as diverse as Goethe, Jonas Salk, and the Dalai Lama are credited with quotes that I connect with this experience, saying some version of this. There are only two lasting bequests we can hope to give our children. One of these is roots, the other is wings. My church life has given me both of these things in abundance. I grew up into the woman I am today thanks to the opportunities and experiences that came to me through congregational life and the people I met there. Our church communities have carried my family as we crossed many thresholds, some abstract, some physical, as when we moved into our new home. And since I am not a child, I am expected to reciprocate, and I joyfully accept the responsibility of providing that same support to all of you, to our staff, and to our beloved physical building, so that its threshold can remain sturdy and open to us when we are able to return, and to all those following us. At this time, particularly when as a community, a country, a world, we are crossing the threshold of this pandemic, we must acknowledge that we will not be going back to normal as we knew it before, that the world we will find on the other side will be different and hopefully better. And let us continue to treat each other as the best kind of family. My name is Myra Aaronson, and I am so pleased to be part of this congregation. Now it is time to light the chalice. As I light my chalice, I invite you to light your own chalice, bringing the light into your home and your heart. These words are from John Shar. The future is not someplace we are going, but one we are creating. The paths are not to be found, but made. And the activity of making them changes both the maker and the destination. And now please join me in reciting our mission statement as displayed on your screen. At South Church, we nurture spiritual growth through worship, learning, and community. We celebrate the worth and dignity of all people, and we inspire one another to act on our faith in the larger community.
Good morning, everybody. It's nice to see you, and this is a special day. Today is Mother's Day, so it's nice to be with you, and it's nice to be here with Kirsten, who's an amazing mom, and she's written the most beautiful story for you today.
I have something for you, Jenny. I went outside this morning and picked you some flowers.
Thank you, Kirsten. Thank you. I heard that you were picking me flowers, and I thought that was so lovely. I went out and picked some for you too.
Thank you, Jenny. So, this story this morning is called The Mountain Flower. Once upon a time, there was a young woman who loved to hike in the mountains. She lived her days dreaming about the next time that she would have a chance to head out into the wild parts of the world. Every time she did, she would feel a peace, an ease that would restore something deep inside her heart. This young woman had one mountain not too far from her house, for which she had a particular affection. It was like a beloved friend because she spent so much time on that mountain. And on that particular mountain was an unusual plant that flowered every spring. And that flower was without a doubt her absolute favorite flower on earth. Now, as happens, time passed, and this young woman fell in love and hoped to have children with her love, and they were so fortunate that in what seemed like the blink of an eye, she found herself a mom, spending her days between her job and caring for her family.
They all loved to hike, but as her children grew, it seemed like more and more appointments and obligations filled their time. As the hikes began to be replaced by other tasks, this mama felt less settled. She was fine, and she loved her family and her life very much, but all the tasks felt a little bit forced, like somehow a trick had been played on all of them. The one spring Saturday, the family had cleared their schedules so they could head out to her favorite mountain for a hike. As they climbed, she came across that flower, and in a flash, she realized it had been a few years since she'd seen her favorite flower. And that realization made her feel sad, and a little tear rolled down her cheek.
Her daughter was watching her and asked why she was sad. And the mama explained that she had been missing this flower and hadn't even realized it. And now, realizing it made her heart ache a little bit. "I'm okay though," she told her darling girl. "It just feels like remembering a lost friend." Her daughter didn't quite understand, but she did not want her mama to be sad. And she knew that when she visited a mountain, you should try to leave it just as you find it. But she saw that there were many, many of her mama's favorite flowers growing all across the landscape, and she thought that taking just one plant would be okay. So she kept her cup out when they stopped for lunch, and as they hiked on, she paused for a moment to carefully dig up one small plant and tuck it gently in her pack.
When the family arrived back home from their hike, the daughter quietly pulled out that cup with the flower peeking out of the top, and she walked outside to find a small patch of dirt. Again, with great care, she dug into the soil and planted that mountain flower in a spot she knew her mama was sure to see on her morning walks. She went back inside and fell asleep. Days passed, and about a week later, the little girl remembered the flower she had planted. She ran downstairs to find her mama and asked her to come for a walk. They strolled together until they reached the spot where the daughter had planted her gift. But when they arrived, the daughter found only shriveled up leaves. A tear rolled down her cheek, and her mama asked what was wrong.
The whole story came spilling out. By the end, the daughter was really feeling very sad. "I just wanted you to have your friends close to you," she said. "That was such a sweet, kind thing for you to do," said the mama. "Thank you for loving me so much. But don't be sad. Those flowers aren't meant to grow here. They are part of the mountain. And I was sad when I saw them because I realized I had not gone to visit them in too long." The mama took the daughter's hand, and they continued on their walk. As they walked, the mama thought about how she had felt on the mountain, and about how the flower didn't grow where her daughter planted it in town. And just as she was about to speak, her daughter turned to her.
"You know what, Mama?" she asked. "What is it, love?" said Mama. "Those mountain flowers are smart. They know where they're supposed to live and when they are supposed to bloom, and they're patient the way they wait for their friend to come back and visit, even if it takes a few years." "You're right," said the mama. "They are really wise teachers. Let's go back and visit them soon, okay?"
They turned and smiled at one another and agreed to head back to the mountain soon. Then the woman smiled to herself and closed her eyes, savoring that feeling deep in her heart something restored.
Sometimes we get really busy with things. It's a lot of work to be a parent. It's a lot of work to be a kid. And sometimes in the process of being busy and when things feel upside down, we forget to remember our friends that restore us. All the different kinds of friends, the plant friends, the people friends, all the kinds. And so we hope that you're remembering to go back to the things that you love to help you when you're busy. And remember that we love you very much and we miss you and we can't wait to see you soon.
And happy Mother's Day, all you mamas.
Happy Mother's Day.
While we are not actually passing the basket among us, this congregation and our community still need our financial support. For some, these difficult times have caused financial hardship. So let us together commit to each giving what we can to sustain the life and work of this congregation. This month, our collection will be shared with the New Hampshire chapter of NAMI, the National Alliance for Mental Illness. This grassroots nonprofit organization aims to serve those whose lives have been impacted by mental illness through education, advocacy, and direct support. Please give as you are able. The directions are on your screen, or you can always send an old-fashioned check.
I would now welcome you into prayer time. And I would invite you please to write your prayer concerns in the chat box so that we can all hold you in our prayerful thoughts. Each prayer that you write comes directly to us, to each one of us who is listening and sitting here with you now. You are not alone. We hear your prayers. We see your prayers. We know that each and every one of us has prayers. Please be in touch with us. You do not need to be alone. And I say, glorious, wondrous days of bright, bright sun and moonlit nights. Days that we feel and think about gardening and being with others. Days and nights that we want to spend with others. And yet we know that these days and these nights are filled with sadness and uncertainty and fears, anxieties, and concerns. Last week, people shared many illnesses and health scares and return of cancer or facing cancer, facing insecurity, some related to the COVID-19 virus, which makes our time even more precious and more tender. We have times of job insecurity, health insecurity, social anxiety. We don't know which directions to go. We don't know which directions to turn to. So sometimes we are left feeling isolated and alone. And yet when we gather in prayer at a time like this, when I think of you, when I think of the ways that I want to reach out and let you know that you are held in my heart, that you are held in my thoughts, you are held in my prayers. Let us be grateful for all that we do have and not be too hard on ourselves. It is a tough time, and it is okay, in spite of the blessings that we do have, to feel pain and insecurity and sadness. My prayer is that you know you are not alone and that we are here with you. Please enter your prayerful thoughts as we listen to music and watch a soothing video. Amen, and may it be so. I now invite you into a time of some meditation. Center yourself, put your feet firmly on the ground. Center yourself into that space, that within where you go to find all sources that give you the courage, the hope, and the ability to get through day to day. Take a deep breath and be grateful for the air that we can be breathing in. Be aware of the people around you, your loved ones, your families, the noises that are in the background, the noises of nature, the noises in your house. Be focused on those. Let them be a reminder that we live and breathe in the midst of all sorts of things. Take a moment, be still, and know within the very center of your being that all is good, that you are good. Breathe in, breathe out. Care for one another and care for yourself. May it be so. As much as I respect and honor mothers, I have long thought of this day as being devoted to nurturing and parenting. I have seen times when a father has been both mother and father. I have seen blended families and or adopted families who have been the abiding source of goodness in a child's life. And thus I say thank you to all who parented us, who stand by us even now. Those who were with us as we gave birth, as we raised our children, who took our children and us under wing, and who bore the responsibility to be the life givers, the life enhancer, the enlivening influencers. Yet on Mother's Day, we have no alternative but to deal with the ambiguities of the day, the memories, the frustrations, the pains, the guilt, the struggles, the happiness, the hopes, the joys, all aspects of that awesome wonder of mothering. Being a mother is one of the hardest jobs in the entire world, as I can well imagine being a father is too. Being parents is not for the faint of heart. It never has been, nor will it ever be. When I think about parenting or mothering or being a father, I don't think about a trait specific to a gender or to the biological parent whose womb or seed we come from. Instead, I am talking about those persons in our life who enlivened our spirit, who nurtured our souls, whose stories, deeds, and words inspire us still. There are so many different experiences of mothering. Today could be a confusing or a difficult day. There are biological parents or mothers who are incompetent or worse, unsuitable parents. There are mothers or parents who have failed miserably to demonstrate love, care, compassion, nurturing to their offspring. So this day devoted to mothers may bring out some of that pain and anger and frustration. It is okay to be upset. It is okay. That is the reality of today. But it is not okay to hold that pain all by yourself. Reach out and share the hurt. We are here to listen and to help. Some of us may have mothers or parents who are no longer living, or who live far, far away, or who are ill with illnesses, mental or physical. And with this time of the COVID 19 threat, these fears and anxieties may be even stronger and feel more threatening. And coupled with that inability to gather to celebrate with family, to honor or remember your mother is upsetting. Today may be a sad day, and that is okay. It is fine to be upset. This is the reality of today. But it is not okay to hold all that pain to yourself. Reach out and share the hurt. We are here to listen. We care. My mother died when she was 66 years old. I've already lived almost 20 years longer than she did. She died in July 1991, my final year in seminary. She never got to see my ordination or be part of my graduation in 1992, nor did she get to know that I love being in the ministry. She would love you. She would love you. She would be smack dab in the middle of as many groups and gatherings as you would allow her. And I am grateful that she did share with me that my father, who died at age 51 in 1978, would have been proud of me going into the ministry. And knowing that she was with me as I began on the path to ministry does bring me solace. She lived with me and my spouse, Ron, when recovering from her first bout of cancer. I was student minister at the Wightige Unitarian Universalist Church. On Fridays, when I wrote my sermon, I would often share it with her to get her feedback. She was too ill to come to church, but she sure liked giving her opinions about my sermons, and I appreciated hearing. And the first time I wrote a Mother's Day sermon, she stopped and she said, look, I really do appreciate that you want to thank me for being your mother, but I want you to remember a couple of things. And then she told me how her mother had died when she was just barely 7 years old, and that she had never had a positive mother figure to look to. And so she warned me, be cautious about assuming things about motherhood. And second, she said that without my grandfather and father and that big extended family and neighborhood and village, I would not have turned out the way I did. Remember, she said, that it is the environment of all those who surround you in your early years that make the difference in who you will be as a person. So respect all those who gave you nurture and care, not just mothers. And these were sad and hard things to hear, but I remember them. And then another aspect of Mother's Day to make it even more difficult is that my beloved Grandpa Faye died on the day before Mother's Day. So Mother's Day is tough for me. And some of us may be parents or mothers who question our own abilities, who may feel guilt and sadness at our own shortcomings. So today may feel overwhelming. It is okay to be upset. This is a reality of today. It is not okay to hold that pain all by yourself. Reach out, share the hurt. We are here to listen. Yet at the same time, one of the joys of this day is that I'm reminded that it takes a whole lot of people to raise up children. I think of the village of South Gardner where I grew. It was part of the city of Gardner that had its own grocery and clothes shop, gas station, cobbler, pharmacy, bus stop, school, playground, fire station, ambulance company, library, auto repair shops, car dealers, factories, bars, churches, and cemeteries. It could be walked in less than an hour. Everybody knew everybody else and their business. And this was both a good and a bad thing, as you can imagine. Gossiping or talking about others could surface in unhealthy ways. But if you were in need, the word spread quickly and an army of support was mustered. On my street, there were about 25 kids of all ages and 2 monkeys. Honestly, our neighbor 4 houses down the street had 2 spider monkeys who loved to come out and play in the neighborhood with us. Not sure who got into more trouble, the monkeys or us. Well, That's not quite true. We kids got into trouble quite frequently. We climbed trees we weren't supposed to. We helped ourselves to vegetables and flowers that were not ours. We snuck into the wood factory storehouses and crawled all over wood piles. We slipped out at night to catch frogs and tadpoles. We snuck through the alleyway behind the bar to watch those who had too much to drink weave and bob as they were leaving the bar. We used tools without permission to build forts and huts. Now, you get the drift. And even with all our mischief making, we never got away with one thing, because the village paid attention to our antics, and without fail, any serious wrongdoing was nipped in the bud by someone. And when anything good happened to, if a new sibling was born, or somebody did well in school, or excelled in sport, or earned a badge in Boys or Girl Scouts, if a parent got a new car or a new job, the village always commented with praise and excitement and joy at the good news. All members of that village, whether they had children or not, cared about each one of the children in the village. The children and adults were making connections from home to home. The children were bringing youthful energy to the village, and the adults were teaching, and the adults were caring. And each success, each sadness, each struggle was lessened or expanded because somebody cared about somebody else. And I think that parenting is something that doesn't happen without a village. Neighbors, church, families, friends, and during this time of the pandemic, those connections have become even more important. Let's hold on to them. Let's keep making those connections. So parenting, that's a holy task to which we are called. It is also an expression of the fullness of life and an awesome responsibility, and it enlivens our spiritual beingness. So today, let us be grateful for parents who gave us birth, nurtured us, and for those persons in our lives who enlivened our spirits, who nurtured our souls, whose stories, deeds, and words inspire us still. And let us use every resource at our disposal to build a Unitarian Universalist village right here that continues to nurture and enrich and enliven life. And this enlivening spirit is found wherever there are persons who model courage, a courage that we can call on when we are in need. It is found in teachers who model intellectual stimulation, which motivates us to learn. It is found in those who model curiosity, who lead us to want to know why, where, what, and more. It is found in those who model compassion, who inspire us to be good, non-judgmental, compassionate listeners and helpers. It is found in those who model justice, who lead us to instigate for social change and transformative love. It is found in those who model perseverance, who encourage us to keep on trying again and again and yet again. It is found in those who model all the qualities and traits that support the life-giving, life-enhancing nature of our being. So let us give thanks for the moms who birthed us, the adopted moms who accept and love us, the grandmothers who make and made themselves present to us, and to parents and the village who act in ways that encourage, motivate, inspire, and support the life and spirit of everyone. Let us build a village that we may maintain with love, compassion, and care. May it be so. So we have gathered for worship. We have gathered across the country. We have gathered those we know and those who are new to us. We have gathered people who are struggling. We have gathered people who are celebrating. We gathered together to have a worship, and that we did, which means that we care and we come together to honor mothers and parents and all those who nurtured us. We came together and heard music and song and purpose. And now it is time to go forth into what we do not know, but to go forth knowing that we are stronger from having been together for this time this morning, that we have strengthened our connections. We have confirmed that we are Unitarian Universalists who have a message. Love is the answer. Love is the way, and peace is the goal. May peace be with you and with yours. So may it be. Go forth now. Enjoy your day.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.